Namaste everyone, welcome. Let us see about blood. The blood is red colored thick fluid, bright red when taken from an artery or dark red when taken from the vein. It is alkaline in nature, salty in taste, viscous and heavier than water. An average adult contains 5 to 6 liters of blood in his body. It forms nearly 8% of the body weight in the human being. It is always in circulation from the heart to the arteries and back through the veins. So, in short, we understood everything about the blood. Okay, in a normal adult human being, about 5 to 6 liter is the volume of blood. It is around 8% of his body weight. Its nature is alkaline, salty in taste, viscous and heavier than water. Viscous means it flows slowly and slowly, like honey. But it is not that viscous as honey. Okay, so it is viscous. Its color is red when you take it from arteries, bright red, and dark red when it is taken from the veins. Composition of blood. The blood chiefly consists of a liquid called plasma. Blood constitutes about 55% to 60% of the plasma. Floating in plasma are three of kinds of formed element: red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. So this is composition about blood. So it is mainly formed of one liquid. That liquid we call plasma. About 50 to 60% is liquid only. That is plasma only. And in plasma, we have three kinds of cell floating. They are red blood cells, also called as erythrocytes, white blood cells, they are called leukocytes, and platelets called thrombocytes. Plasma, it is the fluid part of the blood and constitute 55 to 60% of the blood. It is light yellow in color and alkaline in nature. Composition of plasma is about 90 to 92% of water and 7 to 8% protein. Inorganic salt. Plasma contains about 1% inorganic salt like sodium chloride and sodium bicarbonate. So this is in total the composition of blood. So it is a fluid part consisting of 55 to 60% of the blood, yellow in color, alkaline in nature, and its composition is 90 to 90% water and 7 to 8% protein. Along with that, it contains 1% inorganic salt like sodium chloride and sodium bicarbonate. The functions of plasma are: one of the most important function of the plasma is to transport nutrient throughout the body. So this is one of the most important function, that it transports nutrient throughout the body. Second, in addition to transporting the nutrient, the plasma transport waste product such as uric acid, creatinine, ammonium salt from cells of the body to the kidney. Third, plasma carries salt, also called electrolyte, throughout the body. These salts include sodium, calcium, potassium, magnesium, chloride, and bicarbonate are the importance of many are important for many bodily functions, and thus in this way maintains the electrolyte balance in the body, in the blood. Okay, so functions of plasma. One of the most important function of the plasma is to transport nutrients throughout the body. Second important function, in addition to transporting nutrient, is plasma transport waste product. They transport waste products such as uric acid, creatinine, ammonium salt from the cell of the body to kidneys. And third, plasma carries salt, also called electrolytes, through the body. Means it carries salts, it transports salts through the body. These salts include sodium, calcium, potassium, magnesium, chloride, and bicarbonate. They are important for many bodily functions and thus in this way maintains the electrolytic balance of the blood. Here we have given a table in which different elements of blood are there, their lifespan is there. So, and other characteristics also. So we have red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets. If we see their lifespan, for red blood cells is it 120 days. That means um, around in 120 days your red blood cell, okay, will die. So it will die. New cell will take a birth. That we can say that new cell will form and the old cell will die. So generally they are present in our body around 140 days, 120 days. White blood cells, few hours to few days. Okay, so different types of white blood cells. Few blood cells have life of about few hours, whereas few cells have life of few days also. Platelets. Platelets, their lifespan is 5 to 9 days. Number, if we see in microliter, microliter means if we take 1 microliter, if we take a very small, okay, blood is smaller than a single drop of blood, we can say, then we find about 4 to 5 million of red blood cells, 5,000 to 10,000 white blood cells, and around 1,50,000 to 5 lakh platelets. Shape, if we see, red blood cells are biconcave disc shape, white blood cells, they are irregular, that we call amoeboid, amoeboidal shape, that means their shape is not well defined. Platelets, they are round or oval. Origin, where you find these cells. So red blood cells you will find in bone marrows. White blood cells, again they are in bone marrows and lymph nodes, and platelets in bone marrows. So your bone marrow is the place where these blood cells they generate. Nucleus, if we see whether nucleus is present or not. So in red blood cells, nucleus is absent. In white blood cells, it is present, and in platelets, it is absent. Pigment. Pigment, in red blood cells, we have hemoglobin as a pigment. Pigment means some element which provide color to them, pigments. Okay, so red blood cells have hemoglobin. White blood cells, no pigment. And platelets also no pigment. Movement, move due to the force from heart. Okay, so heart is applying force and along with blood, these red blood cells they are moving. So move due to the force from the heart. So as the heart pump in which direction? In that direction, these red blood cells move. White blood cells they move independently because their function is to fight against the outside bacteria. So wherever they find that their need is, they move there. And platelets they move due to the force of the heart. Functions, carry oxygen and form oxygen hemoglobin. So their main function is to carry oxygen. They form oxyhemoglobin, okay, compound carries carbon dioxide and turn dull red. So when they are carrying oxygen, that time because of that oxygen, their color is red bright. But when they carry carbon dioxide, their color is dull red. For white blood cells, their function is to produce antibodies and carries out phagocytosis. Phagocytosis, their job is to engulf the bacteria. That is called phagocytosis. And platelets, they help in the clotting of the blood. The functions of the blood, the main functions of the blood in our body are as follows. It transports digested and simplified food to different organs and tissues. So food, okay, which is in the simplified form, or we can say that which is broken down form, okay, that food is transported to different organs and tissues. It transports oxygen from the lungs to tissues by means of RBCs in combination with hemoglobin. It transports oxygen from the lungs. From lungs, it transports oxygen to tissues by means of RBCs in combination with hemoglobin. Third, it helps in disposal of carbon dioxide from the tissues. It helps in disposal of carbon dioxide from the tissues. It removes excretory product from the tissues to kidney. It distributes hormones secreted by special glands directly into the blood. It distributes vitamins. It helps in regulating the body temperature by distributing heat. It helps in regulation of water balance. It forms a clot wherever there is a cut in the blood vessels. The clot not only prevent the further loss of blood but also prevent the entry of germs. It provides protection from foreign organisms. It produces antitoxins and antibodies which neutralizes the poisonous substances or kills the germs, and it helps in lymph formation. So the functions of blood, you can see lot of functions are given. So few functions you can definitely remember. Let us revise the functions of blood once again. The main functions of the blood in our body are as follows. First function is it transports digested and simplified food to different organs and tissues. The first function is it transports digested and simplified food to different organs and tissues. Second function is it transports oxygen from the lungs to tissues by means of RBCs in combination with hemoglobin. Second function is to transport oxygen from the lung to the tissues. Third, it helps in disposal of carbon dioxide from the tissues. So it is carrying carbon dioxide from tissues. Fourth, it removes excretory product from the tissue of kidney. Excretory product like urea, uric acid, it removes those. It distributes hormones secreted by a special gland directly into the blood. So its function is to distribute hormones which are produced at different parts of the body. It distributes vitamins. It helps in regulating the body temperature by distributing heat. It helps in regulation of water balance. It forms a clot wherever there is a cut in the blood vessel. The clot not only prevent further loss of the blood but also prevent the entry of germs. It provides protection from foreign organisms. It produces antitoxins and antibodies which neutralizes the poisonous substances or kills the germs, and it helps in lymph formation. So each and every function is clear. Blood group, sometimes it becomes necessary to inject blood into the body of patient undergoing surgical operation or of those who have lost blood in accidents. This is called blood transfusion. Landsteiner discovered that mismatching of blood transfusion might prove fatal due to reactions between antigens and antibodies present in the blood. Okay, so what we are saying that many times it is required to provide blood or to give blood from external source. Okay, from someone else, we have to give blood to someone who is undergoing some surgical operation. So this is called blood transfusion. So there is a scientist called Landsteiner. What he discovered that mismatching of blood transfusion might prove fatal. So if blood is blood, okay, if I give blood to you, I donate blood to you. So there could be possibility of mismatching, and when it happens, then it could be fatal. That means it could lead death to the person to whom the blood is given. This is because of reactions between antigens and antibodies present in the blood. So there are two types of antigen named as A and B. Their corresponding antibodies which react are termed as A and B. Thus a human being have four types of blood group: A, B, AB and O. Okay, so depending upon antigens which are present in my blood, okay, we have different four types of blood group: A, B, AB, and O. The blood group are inherited from parent. Successful transfusion is possible between the same group. Okay, so if any person have blood group A, so he or she can receive a blood group A. Then there is no problem. We can say that there is no problem. One can donate the blood when their blood group is same. So successful transfusion is possible between the same groups. Blood group O is universal donor and AB is universal recipient. That means if any person have blood group O, he can donate that blood group to anyone. And if any person have blood group AB, he can receive blood from anyone. There is no problem. So here in this chart, you can see blood group. Blood group O is universal. Blood group A, antigen present is A, antibody present is B. Now, the person having blood group A can donate blood to A and AB. And the person having blood group A can receive blood from a person whose blood group is A or whose blood is O. Similarly, we can see for B, we can see for AB, and we can see for O. So this table you can learn. RH factor, another factor in the blood is called RH factor, and it is also genetically determined. Most people are RH positive, a few are RH negative. So we say A positive, A negative. So A is blood group and positive is their RH factor, positive or negative. An expecting mother who is RH negative may lose her baby if the baby has RH positive blood. Now there are new medical technique to save such cases. So it could possible that mother have RH negative, but the child who took birth has RH positive. Then in that case, it is little risky for the baby. Hemoglobin. Hemoglobin, it is a small respiratory pigment present in colorless spongy body or stroma of the RBC is called hemoglobin and is the effective chemical constituent of RBC. Hemoglobin is made up of hymine, the iron containing part, and globin, a protein. It combines with oxygen to form oxyhemoglobin, an unstable compound. So this hemoglobin is what? It is a pigment which is present in RBCs. So hemoglobin is not RBC. It is a small constituent of RBC. And if you see the color of blood is red because of this pigment only. Okay, its main function is to combine oxygen with it. Okay, and form an unstable compound. So function we can see here, the major role of hemoglobin is to carry oxygen from the lung to tissues and return carbon dioxide from the tissues to lung. It is a oxygen carrying component of RBCs. Hemoglobin binds oxygen, transport oxygen and delivers the same to tissues. Hemoglobin binds carbon dioxide, a waste product of metabolism. So functions of hemoglobin we see. The major role of hemoglobin is to carry oxygen from the lungs to tissues and return carbon dioxide from tissues to lungs. It is a oxygen carrying component of RBCs. So yes, again and again we are saying that its main job is to carry oxygen. This hemoglobin binds oxygen, transport oxygen and deliver it to tissues. Also it binds carbon dioxide, a waste product, and return to the lungs. Blood pressure. Now blood pressure, you have heard about blood pressures also many times. So what is blood pressure? Blood pressure, in short we say BP, is the pressure of circulating blood on the walls of blood vessels. So These bloods, how much pressure they apply on the walls of vessels, that is blood pressure. Used without further specification, blood pressure usually refers to the pressure in large arteries of systemic circulation. Blood pressure is usually expressed in terms of systolic pressure, that is maximum during one heartbeat, over diastolic pressure, minimum between two heartbeats, and measured in millimeter of mercury above surrounding atmospheric pressure, and it is measured in millimeter of mercury above surrounding atmospheric pressure. So this blood pressure we measured in millimeters of mercury. Okay, if you see, when you go to the doctor, when you see how they are measuring the blood pressure, you will find one instrument. That instrument is called sphygmomanometer, and in that instrument, if you see, there is a mercury level which rises. Okay, which rises to certain height, and that height gives you your blood pressure. Now, your blood pressure has two readings. One is called systolic pressure, which is maximum, and it is during maximum during one heartbeat. So whatever maximum pressure we have during one heartbeat, that is called systolic pressure, and whatever minimum pressure we have, okay, that is called diastolic pressure. So minimum pressure between two heartbeats is your diastolic pressure, and maximum is your systolic pressure. So here we have difference between the systolic and diastolic pressure. First, their definition. It measures the amount of pressure the blood exerts on arteries and vessels while the heart is beating. So it measures the amount of pressure. Here, it is the pressure that is exerted on the walls of the various arteries around the body in between the heart when heart is relaxed. Actually, when your heart is relaxed, when it is not pumping the blood, that time also there is some pressure in the arteries, and that pressure on the arteries is called diastolic pressure. So it is minimum, and when heart is pumping the blood, that time the pressure is maximum. That is your systolic pressure. Normal range, if you see, so for this systolic pressure, 90 to 120 mm of mercury and 95 to 100 mm in case of about 90 mm in case of infant, very small children, and 100 mm from 6 to 9-year old babies is a normal systolic range. Diastolic range is about 60 to 80 millimeter of mercury in adults, 65 millimeter in infant, and 65 millimeter of mercury for 6 to 9-year old children. Importance with age. As the person's age increases, so does the importance of their systolic blood pressure measurement. Diastolic readings are particularly important in monitoring the blood pressure in young individuals. Blood pressure, systolic pressure, the maximum pressure exerted on the arteries. Diastolic pressure, the minimum pressure in the arteries. Ventricles of the heart, left ventricle contract, filled with the blood. Blood vessels contracted and relaxed, means during systolic pressure, blood pressures they are contracted, and here they are relaxed. Blood pressure reading, the higher number is systolic pressure and the lower number is diastolic pressure. So when doctor is taking blood reading, the higher pressure is systolic and the lower pressure or lower reading is the diastolic. Benefits of exercise on circulatory system. Increase in the size of heart. With regular exercise, the hypertrophy, that is increase in size of heart, take place. With effect, there is increase in stroke volume and cardiac output. So when we are doing exercise, what happens? We are pumping more blood. This is first advantage. As we pump more blood, more oxygen is supplied to different parts. Resting pulse rate increases. With increased stroke volume, the basal heart rate decreases thus resting time increases. Reduction in heart related problems. Regular exercise decreases the cholesterol level in the blood. Therefore, there are less chances of heart attack and other cardiac problems. So, the person who is doing regular exercise, there is less chance of heart attack. Improvement in the cardiovascular system. Regular exercise results in building the new capillaries, so more oxygen can be delivered, and regular exercise also increases the red blood cell count, and thus greater amount of oxygen can be transported throughout the body. In this way, exercise improves the cardiovascular system. So cardiovascular system, cardio means related with heart, vascular means your blood vessels. Okay. So this system also improves as one exercises. Increase in hemoglobin content. Regular training increases the hemoglobin content in the blood. This results in increase in oxygen content in the blood. So as one exercise, it increases the hemoglobin content. Fast recovery to normal pulse after physical activity. The pulse or the heart rate returns to the normal rate faster after exercise. Faster adaptation of working load. In a trained person, the heart can adapt to the working load quickly, that is, quick adjustment of the heart according to body requirement. Decrease in blood viscosity. The viscosity of blood decreases due to fast circulation of the blood. New capillaries are formed. Regular exercise helps in the formation of new capillaries, which now bring more blood to the working tissues, resulting in improved efficiency of muscles. And chemical composition of blood improves. Regular exercise can improve the chemical composition of blood, like increase in RBC, etc. So there are a lot of benefits of exercise, lot of benefits for your cardiovascular system. So one must exercise regularly, right? So as you learn a lot of benefits of the exercise, you must in your daily routine keep some time for exercise, and you should encourage your parents also, okay, because they need more attention towards exercise. Now let us see the questions. What kind of questions are there? First is describe the structural difference between arteries and veins. Okay, so it is already given a very good difference. And now differentiate between red blood cells and white blood cells, arteries and veins, pulmonary artery and pulmonary veins. So in this chapter, this differentiation part is important. So if it is asked to differentiate and this chapter is included, then definitely you will get one differentiation from this chapter. Explain the composition of blood. Give the relation between heart rate, stroke volume, and cardiac output. What are blood capillaries? What is hemoglobin? State its functions. What is blood pressure? Define systolic blood pressure, diastolic blood pressure. For long question type questions, long answer type questions, explain the working of heart with the help of diagram. So you have to draw the diagram also. Differentiate among different elements of blood. We have seen one chart in which red blood cells, capillary red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets are differentiated. Describe various types of blood group. What is blood transfusion? Explain pH factor or R factor of the blood. How does blood circulate in human body? Give detailed description with the labeled diagram. So we have one labeled diagram. There we have seen how the blood is circulating throughout the body. So yes, very interesting chapter and a very important chapter also. Read this chapter 2 or 3 times more. Draw the diagram, write the important points. Okay, that is how you can finish this chapter. Thank you. Thank you for being with me. I will see you in the next class.